Before I get to the main attraction, the headline act, that being the unboxing and the talking about the first Kiss album, the debut Kiss album from 1974. Very important album. Before I get to that, I have some big news to report. Big news. A little bit of sad news, I think, for you, Mike Pratt. He might be the only person who considers this sad news, because apparently he really liked this subplot. But I have some good news for me. You know what it's about. And it's a sad day to see this come to an end. Sad, sad day. But it has come to an end. You know what it is? It's the Metallica 72 Seasons. I wasn't sure I don't know if we decided on if we were going to call that a fiasco, a debacle, shenanigans. But it is over. After, what was that, about 6 months that it took? Look at this. Mix Up sent me a refund. There it is, 796 Mexican pesitos, or pesotes. So I do have a refund. The amount has been refunded to me. There it is there. This is my backup phone. I haven't used this phone for years. Yeah, so that chapter is closed, thankfully. What a pain in the ass that was. I'm sorry, Mike, that talking about Kiss is going to have to suffice for now, but you're a Kiss fan, so maybe that's good enough for you. So I'm going to talk today. First, I'm going to unbox the first Kiss album. I'm going to get right to it. Here it is here. So it's not as much an unboxing as an unbagging. Strange how they and these have all these records that I've ordered or that I've received recently, they've all come from Amazon. And it's strange how they all have different packaging. Most of them have come in boxes, like kind of shallow boxes like this would fit in. They're very shallow. I think 2 of them have come in just like I have this. I still have this here. A couple of them, 1 or 2 of them have come in that. This one, it feels like, has come in one of those cardboard mailers, as well as this giant plastic bag. And I'm not a tree hugger, but this is very wasteful to have this in plastic. Although it could help in the rain. If somebody had left it outside in the rain, hopefully they wouldn't do that. But there it is. So I think without further ado, as some people say, I will open this right now. I guess I don't need my knife to open this because it's in easy to open plastic. As you can see, that was pretty easy. And so here it is. Let me get that out of the way. Hey, they're correct. Frustration-free packaging. Thus far, I know that doesn't this doesn't apply to that plastic bagging, but this let's see if this is frustration-free. It says pull tab to open. If this pulls off in one quick strip, right off. That's frustration-free, but I might end up being frustrated if this tab doesn't come off cleanly. So far, so good. That was truly frustration-free packaging. All right. So here it is. Now, before I actually really open it, I don't have much hope for this. When I got Dressed to Kill last week, I was very disappointed that the packaging was awful. Not this packaging. The packaging of the record, you know what I mean. Obviously the jacket is okay, but inside it just had the plastic sleeve, and that's it. And I'm gonna guess this is the same. Oh, what a thrill it is to do this again, to open a record, especially a Kiss record. So there it is. And again, it says same. It's not really a hype sticker. It's just a sticker. 180 gram audiophile vinyl. First U.S. vinyl pressing since 1985 editions. Yes, this is 2014, Steve Talavera, or Tavalera, whatever the hell your name is. I know what it is. I misspoke, and I think I said 1984 instead of 2014. I was off by 30 years. But here it is. It's got the Casablanca logo down in the bottom. There's the back, and it's very shiny. Look at that. Ooh, very shiny. God, I love this album cover. Brings back great memories. Now, before I talk about it, giving my general thoughts about it, and then track by track. Some of you eagle-eyed regular viewers might know I always go in and take a picture of this outside. Well, who cares? Maybe I take it in my apartment. Why do you care where I take the picture? But I do take a picture in the beautiful cellophane with the hype sticker. So I'm going to do that right now, and I'm going to come back and talk about this album. For me, it's going to be 2 minutes, but for you, it'll be seconds. Here I come. So I am back, and I've got my brand new copy of Kiss Alive. Before I open it and get to the track by track, I'll talk about this album a little bit. I've talked about it before, but it's never too much for me to talk about Kiss. I know there's at least one person that doesn't like me talking about Kiss or about. I did Alive, and he said Alive again, like you have no more material. This is what I want to talk about. You could start a YouTube channel and talk about whatever you like, or I think there's more than one YouTube channel, so you can watch something else if you don't like to hear me talk about Kiss Alive or the 1974 seminal debut of Kiss. Eponymous, is that it? Self-titled. So now, I've mentioned before when I did the rankings of all the Kiss albums, all 24, which was 20 plus the 4 solo albums. I had this at number 6. And in retrospect, I maybe would have had it a little bit lower. I think when I did that, I automatically just I knew what was going to be at the bottom, and I kind of knew what was going to be at the top. For me, in my mind, the first 6 studio albums, Kiss, Hotter Than Hell, Dressed to Kill, and then Alive, skip that, and then Destroyer, Rock and Roller, Love Gun. Those are going to be in the top 6, and I just had to rearrange them. But in retrospect, I thought, I'm sure I like Ace Frehley's 1978 album and Jeans even more. I like both of those better, I think, than the debut Kiss album, which I know is sacrilegious for a lot of people. But and the reason is timeline. God, I talk about this every time. Timeline is very important. I didn't get this as a hardcore Kiss fan as I am. I didn't get this until 1985. So I there were some songs, Let Me Know, Love Theme from Kiss, and Kissin' Time that I think I had never heard until 1985. So I knew the studio tracks from here that they played on Alive. Strutter, Deuce, Cold Gin, 100,000 Years, Black Diamond, Cold Gin, Firehouse, Nothing to Lose, almost all of them. I knew all of those, but I didn't know the studio versions. Now, to be clear, and again, I've talked about this many times, all of the tracks on Alive, not just from this album that were taken that were culled to make Alive, all of the songs on that album are way better, with no exceptions, than they are in the studio versions. I think from this album more than the others. I don't think I said that properly. Of the first 3 Kiss albums that made up Alive, this one sounds the worst. So when I'm talking about this album, I'm talking about these versions of the songs, not the actual songs. If you took them from Alive, if you took those versions, I would have a very different opinion. But talking about these, it's kind of a weak sounding album. It's kind of thin sounding. Hotter Than Hell, I know a lot of people don't like the way that album sounded. It was kind of muddy and murky and dark. But I think it sounds better than this one. This one was just, as I said, very thin. So I would now put this at, it has awesome songs. I would now put this at 8 out of 24 of my Kiss albums, which is still very high. So that's it about this album. I will do it track by track after I open it up. I have to deploy the blade, which I have just done. And as I said, I don't have high hopes for the packaging. It's very thin, so I know it feels like there's nothing else in here. And again, it's very tightly sealed. There's no tiny gap to even get the blade in. Let's see if I can do this without causing any catastrophic damage. Well, let me try doing it from the corner here. All right, there we go. All right, I think I can put the knife away and tear this open. Got to be careful. You don't want to bend the corners as you do this. This is the most boring part of the video. And the most boring part of my day, probably. All right, there it is. Ooh, it is Matt. Let me put this over here. Not the masculine name Matt, which is short for Matthew, but M-A-T-T-E, which I believe is French. I could be wrong. It's a matte finish, which I like. I don't like glossy. There's too much glare on a glossy finish. So this is matte. And now I'm going to take it out, and I'm sure it's just going to be plain packaging. Yeah, and it is. That kind of sucks. Just this plain white packaging, that side and that side. Which I guess is how the original record came. So I understand they're trying to keep it as faithful as possible to the original. But you would think by the time these come out in 2014, they know that people want something more. So there it is. I've mentioned this before. I mentioned this with Dress to Kill. This has the purple record label. And I think it did when I had the original one too in 1985. So there it is, side 1, side 2. They're both the same. So I'll put this back in its plain white sleeve, and then I'll talk about it. And I'll put this sleeve back in the record. No, what do you call this? The inner sleeve and the outer sleeve? Jacket and sleeve? I'm not sure. Can't get it. There we go. There we go. All right. It fit in beautifully. So there it is. So going through this track by track, the first one is Strutter. Yes, Strutter, which is kind of strange. You would maybe expect Deuce, but it was Strutter. Again, I'm going to talk about these versions, not the live versions. Maybe I'll kind of conflate them. Strutter, I was always one of my favorite Kiss songs. I talked about this with the live the other day, especially when I was a kid. I loved the melody of the lyrics. In the, I guess every other line in the verses, I know she'll only make you cry. I love that. But again, the studio version, it's a little bit weak. But Strutter is an excellent, fantastic song. That's a Gene and Paul composition. Number 2 is Nothing to Lose. I talked about this with the live the other day. The live version of Live. Oh my God, that's maybe the most overlooked track on that album. Peter Criss. That's his song, I think. And Gene, too. Gene does really well. Gene is singing the verses, and Peter's in the choruses. But this version doesn't touch the live version. I'm going to say that maybe for every song. Number 3 is Firehouse. This is maybe the weakest one. I think of all of these versions compared to the live version. It just sounds so weak and thin. Da, 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 da. Again, good song, but this version, what do I say, leaves a lot to be desired. I don't know. That's Lilia's, I don't know if it's her favorite song, top 3 anyway, is Firehouse. She'll adore you and she'll flaw you. Next is Cold Gin. Same thing. I really, these first 4 songs I could and I will say the same thing. Awesome songs in terms of, I guess, songwriting, but they just don't have any muscle on this. Cold Gin. 5, Let Me Know. Now that one's a little bit different. All right, now we're talking. This was one of only, I guess, 3 I think on this album that weren't on the live. How many tracks are here? There are there 10 total? Yeah, it seems there are 10 total. I guess there were 7 that they played live, 3 that they didn't. Love Theme from Kiss, Kissin' Time, and Let Me Know. And I'll talk about Let Me Know now. Now, obviously, I see those songs differently because I wasn't accustomed to them for 8 or 9 years hearing live versions of them. Let Me Know is definitely top 5 favorite Kiss songs ever. Now, I love this version, maybe only because there was not a live version of it, at least not officially. There was, some of you Kiss fans probably know there was an official, it was called like the Lost Tracks or something of a live, and there was a version from Cleveland, I think, or Detroit, or Quad Cities, I don't know. that I guess was recorded for live but didn't make the album, which I really like too. But it's hard for me to like that one better because I only heard it for the first time a few years ago, and I heard this 38 years ago or something like that. So, but let me know. Very top of the line Kiss song. Let me know. Gene and Paul trading. Who sings the first? Let me. Gene sings the first verse. Let me be your Sunday driver. Let me be your Monday man. I'll take you anywhere you want, just as fast as I can. Dun, 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 dun. It doesn't matter what you want to do. It doesn't matter where you want to go. Just gotta decide, girl, and then you let me know. And then Paul comes in. Love it. The top amazing Kiss song. I don't know why they never really did that song. As far as I know, they did it. The last time that they did it, at least with any regularity, was on the Dress to Kill tour, which was for Alive. I think most Kiss fans would love that song. Let me know. Amazing. Even the version on this album, but that's only because I don't really know any better. So that would have been the last song on side one, and then at this point you would turn it over because it's a record, and the first song you would hear would be Kissin' Time, depending on which version you have. I think Kiss fans know on the original album, this is the original album, but on the original pressing of it, Kissin' Time was not on it. It was recorded but wasn't on the album. When they got a little bit bigger, I think they put out a second pressing of this with Kissin' Time to open the second side. And I love Kissin' Time. Come on, Charlotte, wake up San Diego. Milwaukee, Miami, put your two lips together and kiss. And obviously that's Paul Stanley singing that. I've always thought that it sounds like Gene sings or says the and kiss. Wake up, come on, Charlotte, wake up San Diego, Milwaukee, Miami. So put your two lips together. That's all Paul. To me, it sounds like Gene saying and kiss. I've never heard anybody discuss that. But I've always thought that. Leave a comment down below if you've thought, or if you think, or if you know for a fact that that's Gene. I love that song. I know a lot of people don't, I guess because it's a cover. Same with a lot of people don't like Then She Kissed Me. I love Then She Kissed Me. And Any Way You Want It from Alive 2, the last song on Alive 2. I thought Kiss did great covers. And to me it sounds like a Kiss song. When I heard this song, I think I didn't, which was in 1985, I think at that point I didn't know that it was a Kiss song. Because it was called Kissin' Time, so you think it's a Kiss song. Loved it. I heard it a little bit later. I was 15 by the time I heard it in 1985. But I think Kissin' Time is an excellent song. Maybe a little bit strange to open the second side. Maybe it would have been better to open with Deuce, which is next, and then have Kissin' Time. But yeah, Kissin' Time is great. Deuce, same thing as all the others. Strutter and Nothing to Lose, and Firehouse, what else? Cold Gin, great song. I think the best Kiss songs maybe are on this album, or the first two albums, but it just doesn't do it for me. Like the live version of Deuce is also one of my top songs. Love Theme from Kiss. That's a Love Theme from Kiss. Yeah, Love Theme from Kiss, Let Me Know, and Kissin' Time were the only three to not appear on live. I generally don't like instrumentals. Like, to me, it's like, in some cases, it seems kind of lazy, like they just couldn't be bothered. It seems a little bit filler. They couldn't, and although some instrumentals are great, Coast to Coast by Scorpions, Lost for Words, Iron Maiden, Van Halen has some great instrumentals. But Love Theme from Kiss, which was Acrobat at first. I like it. A little cowbell in there. Again, I never got a chance to get tired of this from hearing it on a live, and never had a chance to compare it, a live version and this version, since it was not on live. So Love Theme from Kiss, I like it a lot. A couple more. That was all four of them, the Love Theme from Kiss. I think that's the only song credited to all four of them. Stanley, Simmons, Chris, and Freely, or as Paul Stanley says, Freely. He exaggerates it. Two more, 100,000 Years. Same thing as with the other, Cold Gin and Deuce, Strutter, Nothing to Lose, whatever. Much, maybe this one more than anything is improved, not alive. And I think some pretty big differences. I listened to this about an hour ago before I did this video. Now, normally I go and I walk with headphones and I listen to it. Now something going back to Strutter. something I didn't notice in all these years, and I think it was because I didn't listen to it. Depending on how you listen to it, you hear different things. I usually listen with headphones, and when I go out for a walk and I exercise and I walk a dedicated walk for 70 to 100 minutes. But this time I listened to it on my stereo. I sat outside in the balcony. I had a couple of Miller High Lifes and some peanuts. And I was listening to Strutter through the stereo. Now maybe it was different through the speakers. And something I noticed that I had never noticed in all these years, I don't listen to this album too much, at least the studio versions. And in Strutter, I know I'm going back here, in the chorus, everybody says she's looking good, and the lady knows it's understood. Something I don't know if I never noticed or maybe I forgot. You can hear a higher, I don't know if it's in a different key or I don't know how to explain it, but you can hear, so Paul, the main, I guess, part that you hear the most is, everybody says she's looking good. But you can also hear a higher register. Again, I don't know if that's a different key. Everybody says she's looking good. And I apologize for my horribly high-pitched singing. But that was the difference in Strutter. Now, 100,000 Years, I guess a couple of big differences. In the live version, just before the vocals come in, I'm sorry to have taken so long, there's that great ace lick. Sorry to have taken so long. And that is not on the studio version. That's one reason why the live version is far, far, far superior. And just the way Paul sings this, on the studio version, he's kind of flat and just on the live version, I'm sorry to... you mind if I sit down for a while? He stretches out a little bit. So this one is my least favorite of the tracks that appeared on live, or maybe it's better to say it was the most improved on live. I feel like I didn't explain that very well, but if you're a Kiss fan, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Let's Hit the Highway doing 69. That's from Under the Gun from Analyze. And the last one is Black Diamond. They stretch this out a little bit. This one is listed as 5:11. It's got that long, that slow outro, which I think they did just to extend the album to make it a little bit longer. Again, same as the other ones. It's so much, like, impossibly better on a live than it is on this one. But that's it. So there it is for, this has the sleeve has a little tear in it. Look at that. Is that worth sending back? No. But that shouldn't happen. Anyway, so there it is. That's Kiss Alive. I have one more coming this week for you Kiss fans. And I guess at some point I will get back to talking about bands other than Kiss. But I'm on now I got to go through this again. But I am on a real Kiss kick lately, and especially records. I got one more coming this week. It's supposed to be here, I think, on Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know when I'll get to it. Probably that day. Aren't you interested to know which one it was? And I had there are two more. So there's that one coming Wednesday. There's another one that I ordered like a week ago, but it's back ordered. They haven't given a date on when it's going to ship. I hope it still comes because this one I'm very, very excited about. There was another one that I ordered a few days ago, and I ordered it, and then I had to cancel it because I went back and I realized it had the Kiss, the German SS logo, which I don't want that in my house. I like the original. This is the only Kiss logo. I understand why the other one exists, but I don't want it. So I ordered that one because in the stock photo on Amazon, it showed the booklet that came with it, and it had the regular logo. And the actual picture of the record was very, very small. And when I zoomed in, it had the fake Kiss logo, the German Kiss SS. So I canceled that one. So anyway, one coming next week, and then another one coming, I don't know when. But I guess I can say I'm very busy. Between the hiking yesterday, I'm going back hiking down at that river again on Monday. I worked today. I think I'm going to work tomorrow. But I did find some time to squeeze in to talk about the first Kiss album from 1974. Yes,